Have you ever watched an anime that's so good, horrifying, and infuriating in a good way that it makes it come out of YouTube retirement just to make a video? Well, this is it. This is Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul. I'm back, everybody. Late to the party, as always. But before we get started, let me know what you thought of this movie. Did you think it surpassed the first season? And for the manga readers, was it faithful to the source material? Let me know in the comments down below. Where do I begin? Honestly, there's so much to unpack. It feels like almost an entire season has been compressed into 100 minutes. And this is partially true. Season 1 covered the first 3-ish volumes, while the movie covered volumes 4 and 5, so maybe that's why the pacing felt lively. During the movie I had to stop and look up various relics and other plot points that came up, but to be fair, that's my fault for not refreshing on the lore by rewatching the first season. I just couldn't bear to watch them get tortured again. That might have been a miscalculation because I didn't get a chance to mentally prepare myself for what came next. You thought season 1 was already horrifying? That's nothing compared to the insanity contained in this movie.
You're never too young to have a Vietnam flashback.
Here's a little side note, like a quick observation. I think Madoka Magica and Made in Abyss are more similar than just being a dark anime that looks cute. The structure and when they decide to ramp up the tension are actually quite similar. In episode 10, both of them gave us that oh shit moment when we realized that Madoka's story was literally throwing us for a loop and how horrifying the Abyss truly was when Rico got really messed up. Then, 2 to 3 years later, they both come out with a movie that surpasses the first season. I don't know, I'm probably not the first one to notice this, it's just an interesting thought. Anyways, let's get into the video. The movie picks up where the first season ends. After Rico is healed and Miti buys a farm and is living out the rest of her life there peacefully, the three descend down into the 5th layer towards Bondrewd's base. When they finally reach Edo Front, they meet Prushka, a new character and Bondrewd's daughter. He dramatically shows up and reveals that only the original owner of the White Whistle can activate the gate to the 6th layer. So unless they miraculously get a White Whistle, they're at his mercy. They don't have a choice but to stay. And during the night, Nanachi sneaks out to negotiate with Bondrewd, Reg goes missing, and Rico accidentally gets hit by the curse and falls down a flight of stairs. Prushka helps Rico and they bond pretty quickly. Inside Bondrewd's office, they have a little chat. Nanachi offers to stay and help Bondrewd as long as he lets the two pass safely, but it's too late because Reg's already been kidnapped and experimented on. Eventually, the others find Reg's room and they escape from the compound. Bondrewd catches up to them but falls into their trap and was defeated after a fight. But then, it turns out, no, it's not that easy killing him. He can swap consciousness into the bodies of the Umbra Hands using a relic, so the only way to defeat him is by destroying it. So while Reg goes looking for electricity to charge himself up for the final battle, Rico and Nanachi are led by Mania to the room where Prushka was processed. In that room, Nanachi reveals that she helped him turn children into cartridges. But there's no time to grieve because Bondrewd shows up and then Rico discovers that White Whistles are made through human sacrifice and then there's a lot happening, right? And at this point in the movie, I wasn't even able to relax and take down some notes. Everything was just flying at me at 100 miles an hour, so I had to pay attention or else I'd miss it. So then Reg punches through the wall, fights Bondrewd, and they end up in a pit where they go all out. And during the mayhem, we discover that Prushka was one of the cartridges. Yeah, pretty fucked up. But if it's any consolation, Rico blasts Bondrewd in half with Reg's severed arm, and she runs over to Prushka to cradle what's left of her. In Prushka's last act of kindness towards her new friend, she offers herself to become Rico's whistle so they can travel together into the Abyss. As they prepare to head into the unknown, Bone appears again and wishes them well as they descend. It's a pretty straightforward setup. Bone is an obstacle that they must overcome so that they can continue their journey. The things that really made this movie for me are how they managed to make you experience so many different feelings and how captivating the characters are. It's been a while since I felt such a huge range of emotions while watching a movie, and I mean massive. I got a sense of excitement, anger, anguish, terror, and disgust, and I mean a lot of disgust. I'll briefly go over the first few and then focus on terror and disgust because I think that's where this movie really stands out from anything we've seen in season 1. When the movie began, I was immediately filled with anticipation of an exciting journey. There's a lot of fantastical landscapes that make your imagination run wild. And unlike season 1 where they descend through multiple layers and we see diverse settings and animals, the movie focuses on the 5th layer, which is Bone territory. The environment feels like a departure from like the naturalistic design of the previous layers. This one feels oddly high-tech, and it makes me wonder like how was all of this built and what was it used for? And then you remembered what happened to all the kids. And then you get angry at the suffering the kids experienced when Bone exposed them to the Abyss's curse, angry he wouldn't get out of their way so he can continue the journey. Like, I just wanted Reg to tear him a new one. But all of that rage turned into outright sadness when Rico was cradling the fluids of Prushka. And don't you dare meme about this in the comments. Let's get to the important stuff, the terror and disgust. Made in Abyss is really good at making you feel uncomfortable. It doesn't go the normal route of just killing the characters. In this world, if you die instantly, you've lucked out. All the gruesome things happen before death. Remember when Rico got stabbed by the orb piercer in season 1? That's child's play compared to the messed up shit we saw in this movie. It upped the body horror level to really uncomfortable levels. Like in the first scene, they jumped right into it with parasite bugs that leave you half alive as a food source for their larvae. It's worse than botflies by 1,000. In a way, he's wrong. The true blessing of the Abyss is dying quickly. You get to skip all the pain and bullshit and just leave. That sounds wonderful. Even though Reg's a robot, seeing them removing his arm made me instinctively grab mine. Or how they like stabbing things into belly buttons. I mean, it just made me uncomfortable, you know? Like, Reg wasn't just being tortured himself. I was being tortured. I felt really uncomfortable the whole time. Something about anime makes the pain hit harder for me than live action. And speaking of hitting hard, what you don't see can be just as bad as well. During Prushka's processing scene, it's not explicitly graphic other than the stabbing part. And again, what's with them and belly buttons? The things they implied that they were going to do with like crossing off parts of the body and ending with imagery of her disintegrating in a dream sequence was chilling. I was like, wait, what? No way, they can't do that. She's a new character. She's supposed to go on adventures with Rico. Why? At the time, I didn't know what cartridges were or what they were made with until Nanachi reveals it to Rico. And that's when it all hits you. Like, I didn't want to believe it. That's really horrific. And knowing that she's not dead yet and being kept alive to take the curse for Bone made me fucking pissed. Oh my god, I'm getting so triggered right now. As for the characters, Bone and Prushka are probably the most memorable ones in the movie for their own reasons. This movie would be nothing without Bone. I mean, this is his movie. His presence stole the show, and without him, there would be no roller coaster of emotions, no conflict, and no movie. As for our main cast, we didn't really see much character development with Reg and Rico, but it's understandable because we've already developed their characters in the first season. This story is all about their conflict between them and Bone. We already know what Rico and Reg are like, so they decided to focus on the characters in this lair. Bone Druid is interesting because his ethics are far removed from our own moral frameworks. As much as I can't forgive him for what he did to everyone, I can't deny that he's a well-written character and not evil for the sake of being evil. His entire goal in life is to figure out the mysteries behind the Abyss and find solutions to problems, and he will do anything he needs to do to get them, even if it means sacrificing children and even his own body on that quest. He takes in orphans and makes sure they're well taken care of before he experiments on them. And even afterwards, he still remembers their names and personalities. He doesn't do it because he hates them. To me, it seems like raising livestock before slaughtering them, which is still a fucked up thing to do, but then you remember that everything is a means to an end, including his own humanity. He's so consumed by his quest to solve the problem of the curse, he's willing to do anything. And so it's clear he's not normal. Do most normal people spend pretty much their entire lives down in the abyss? I don't think so. This guy's also got diehard fans. I mean, they call him Best Dad or Bone Daddy. Sorry, that's the last time I'll ever say that, but the internet never fails to amuse. I get why his fans like him, because his presence is truly overwhelming in the anime and his voice is really distinct. As for Prushka, her short time on screen left a pretty big impact as well. I mean, she's an orphan who dreams of going on adventures with Rico and her friends. She's cute and likable. Her backstory is both heartwarming and tragic. So when she finally offers herself to become Rico's white whistle, it just showed how much she wanted to be able to go with Rico further into the abyss. Yeah, I did cry. So what if she might be a plot device? She's a person too, and that's all that matters. I would love to see more of Prushka just hanging out with her friends in a spin-off OVA or something like the bonus skits at the end with Maruruk's daily life. That'd be pretty cool. I'm not saying this movie was 100% perfect. This is still a movie, and I usually prefer TV episodes to movies because they have more time to build on the characters. With movies, you're only limited to like 100 minutes. Something I wish they'd expand on was Nanachi fully coming to terms with helping Bone Druid. Obviously for him, he doesn't need to cope because, you know, he's operating on a totally different set of morals than Nanachi and us, the viewers. I know it would be very difficult writing that just because you would need to dive deep into like ethics or philosophy, so I don't really blame them. Another gripe is how quickly they switch gears from grieving mode to yay, let's go exploring at the end. I guess they need to end on a bright and happy note, and again, it's just a movie, so time limits. At this point, it just feels like I'm nitpicking, and it's hard to improve on something that's already this good. I think I've been talking long enough, so let's just go through it quickly. Soundtrack good, voice acting good. I really like their screams and cries. It's very impactful, and it gave me goosebumps, so good job. Yeah, movie good. Good out of 10. Movie of the year. Maruruk best boy. Ozin best mom. So after taking a long break, I'm back with a long video. I hope my viewership isn't all messed up and people don't care about my channel anymore, but if it is, I only blame myself. But a new anime season is upon us and there's more videos to come. So if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe. And as always my friends, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.